Hey guys, thanks for coming back and joining us here at Salty Ginger Talk. Good to see you again. So today we're going to talk about things that you can do that will actually make you happier, and kind of sticking with our thought process of things we have control over. These are all things that you can do. You don't need to spend any money. You don't need to travel. You don't need to do anything crazy to make these things happen. So, things that you can incorporate into your everyday life that are going to help you with your mindset, going to help you with your mood, going to help you with your attitude, just in general, make you feel better and a happier person. So, let's get into it. First one is exercise. So it's crazy when I feel like it's crazy when you watch TV these days, and there's so many ads now for so many drugs. I was watching one last night and I can't remember the drug, but it said one of the side effects was potentially um, damage to your perineum, which is your taint. And I looked at my wife and I said, "What do you have to have? You're willing to risk damage to that part of your body that is so bad." So anyway, I think that as a society, we're a little dependent now on drugs to solve our problems when a lot of our problems could be solved through diet, exercise, and just kind of practicing mindfulness and getting our minds right. So exercise is definitely the most, in my opinion, the most underprescribed drug in the world. And so, why do we say that? When you exercise, it releases endorphins, in particular serotonin and dopamine, both of which are hormones that make you feel better and make you feel happier, improve your mood. They change your mindset. They just help. And so, exercise, is one of those things that you can do. It's free. Get up and walk around. Take a walk down the stairs. Take a walk around the building. Walking is exercise. You can run. You can lift weights. You can play basketball. You could play golf. You could walk your dog. You could garden. You can clean your house. So many things that getting up and moving around will do has so many positive benefits for you. It increases your heart rate. It gets more oxygen to your brain. Both of those are good things. Those are going to help you manage anxiety and depression. I'm fortunate that I've never really had anxiety or depression before, but lots of people close to me, my mom, my wife, several of my sisters, a couple of my sons, all struggle with those things. And so, anything you can do that's helpful to manage those situations, I think is a good thing. As an example to show the difference between medication and exercise, I did a little research. Um, there's an author named Sean Anker, and there's in one of his books he references a happiness advantage study. It was very interesting to see the study. So the three different groups that were being treated for depression, and so the three groups they broke people into three groups. They all had depression. They were all being treated. They got three different versions of treatment. One was medication alone. One was exercise alone, and one was a combination of medication and exercise. So initially, when treated with medication or with exercise or with a combination of medication and exercise, all groups showed progress. They got better. I'm not saying they got cured, but their depression and or anxiety improved. It lessened. So 6 months later, they went back to each group who was still on whatever the prescribed um, treatment was. So the medication only group at that point, 6 months after the initial treatments, had a 38% relapse rate. The group that did both medication and exercise, slightly better, had a 31% relapse rate. The exercise only group, 9% relapse rate. So at least three times, in some instances, four times better rate of controlling relapse than medication in 10 minutes. The study said 10 minutes was enough to do it. Get outside and get a walk. Walk on a treadmill. Walk your dog. clean your house, dance. Uh, Lots of things count as exercise. Play basketball, play golf. Lots of different ways to do it. But can't stress enough how much happier you'll be if you incorporate a little bit of exercise into your life daily. And I think it's a daily thing. Um, number two, Number two is get enough sleep. And so get enough sleep is a relative term. I am a person that has never required a whole bunch of sleep, so I'm fortunate or unfortunate in that respect. I don't know. Maybe it's not fortunate that I don't require a whole bunch of sleep, but kind of an optimal night of sleep for me is 6 hours. There's lots of times where I get by on less than 6 hours, but I can feel the difference now as I get older. I used to be able to do that when I was younger and kind of power through it. But as I get older, I feel those effects a lot more when I get less than the 6 hours that I need. You see recommendations of 7 to 8 hours. I can tell you that my wife needs probably 8 to 9 hours. If she gets less than 8 to 9 hours of sleep, there's a noticeable difference in her mood. There's a notable difference in the pace at which she processes information. There's a notable difference in her physical stamina. She just doesn't feel as good if she doesn't get the 8 to 9 hours of sleep. In addition to all of those things, there's been study after study that shows sleep deprivation or consistently not getting enough sleep impairs your memory and concentration. It can disrupt your metabolism, so it can lead to weight gain. It can increase your stress hormones like cortisol. Also, has something to do with your metabolism, but all in all, getting not getting enough sleep is really a bad situation for you and for your body. Um, there's an English study, and they didn't cite the study, but it was in one of the articles that I read. There's an English study that found that getting enough sleep nightly improves your mood as much as winning a medium-sized lottery prize. So that's crazy when you think about it. When all of us, what would it be like to win? I don't know, 250 grand, 500,000 bucks. That'd be great. This study says that consistently getting the right amount of sleep and enough sleep has the same impact on your mood as winning that lottery. That's pretty wild when you stop and think about it. So when you have something that's completely within your control that can impact your mood to that level, it seems, from my perspective, seems very foolish not to take advantage of it and to really focus on it, make it a priority in your life. Number three, spend time with friends and family. And I can't stress this one enough. Being around people who you care about, who care about you, who you like to spend time with is so valuable. And look, I'm not a person that has a lot of deep relationships. I have a few very deep relationships. Mine are mostly family. My wife, I have three sons. My wife and I have three sons. I'm very close to my mom. I'm very close to one of my sisters. I have, really deep relationships with those people, and I enjoy the time that I get to spend with them. Um, I try to make that a priority where, uh, like with my wife, we try to eat dinner together without phones, without television, without any distractions, but try to sit down. And sometimes it's, 9 o'clock at night. Sometimes our days get so busy that it doesn't happen until 9 o'clock at night. And all of our kids are out of the house and grown now. But, we try to have those times. We try to dedicate those times together. And not for nothing, but we've been together for 32 years. We've married 31 years this August. So um, that's been a very successful tactic for us, is just to really focus on getting time uninterrupted together to talk every day. There need to be a lot of time, but time every day, terribly important. So I would encourage you to prioritize spending time with friends and family. And again, it doesn't need to be a lot. Maybe a 5 minute phone call, let someone know, hey, I was thinking about you. Or I saw this on the news and it made me think of you. I read this article and it made me think this about you. People love to know, especially the people that you're close with, love to know you think about them and feel the same way about them that they feel about you. It never gets old having people tell you that they love you and that you're a good person, right? Not a bad thing. Number four, get outside, especially somewhere greenish. You can't always go for a walk in the forest or a walk in the mountains, But even if you're in an urban environment, there's parks, there's playgrounds, there's green spaces, there's strips of land with grass and trees in them. Try to spend some time in those spaces every day. I try to, the very first thing I try to do in the morning, I get up and I go out with my dog. And I'm usually up before most people. I'm kind of a 5 o'clock riser at this point, and I've been in the grocery business for a long time and in the professional world for a long time. And so that lends itself to an early day. Those are early business or early bird gets the worm type things that I've participated in for decades. But with that said, the very first thing I do is I go out with my dog. I don't look at my phone. I don't check emails. I don't do phone calls. I don't send texts. I take my dog outside. I'm fortunate enough to live about a quarter of a mile from a park. And she loves to chase a frisbee. I'll roll the frisbee on the ground. Her favorite way to do it. She doesn't like it when I throw it as much as when I roll it on the ground so she can chase after it, run it down. And being out in the trees, feeling the breeze on my face, feeling the sunlight on my skin, um, walking in the grass. Those are just, very therapeutic. A great way to start the day in a very calm, very serene, very natural environment. And again, depending on where you are, you might have to look a little bit for that environment, but they're around. So if you can find a place to make that a part of your daily routine, I think you'll be a lot happier if you do it. And then number five, practice gratitude. And so practice gratitude is really just kind of stopping and really understanding and thinking about, hey, what am I grateful for? What do I have going on in my life that's really good that maybe sometimes I take for granted, that maybe sometimes it's there and I don't really and truly appreciate just how good I've got it. And practicing gratitude and recognizing those things in a meaningful way, in a deliberate way, is terribly important. It can be written. Maybe you write down before you go to bed 3 things you're grateful for that you recognized that day or that happened that day. I love my relationship with my wife. I love my relationship with my 3 sons. I love my relationships with people that are important to me. I'm fortunate that I'm still fairly healthy. I've got a lot of things going in my life that I'm excited about, podcast being one of them. I love connecting with people and hearing their perspectives and getting their thoughts on these things that we talk about on our podcast. We do a lot of mindset, a lot about how do you think about the world? How do you approach the world? What are you doing to improve your situation or make yourself better on things you have control over? And I love hearing from people on those things. And it's been my experience that like-minded people are get excited about those conversations as I do. And so those are all things to be grateful for. Sometimes, what if you have a really good meal? What if you have a really good meal, something that's original that you've never had before? Maybe you had a really different experience. Maybe you went on a whitewater rafting trip and you'd never done that before. Maybe you played pickleball and you'd never done that before. Maybe you went to a new park and you'd never done that before. Maybe you bought a new blouse or a new pen. Doesn't need to be anything big. Little things are great things to be grateful for, because it really kind of refocuses and recenters you on what's truly important in life. And life is about relationships and experiences. It is not about material possessions. It's not about how much money you can generate. Don't get me wrong, those things are great. I'm no different than anyone else. I'm a capitalist. I'd like to make as much money as I can too, but it's not what makes you happy. In my life, I've made tons of money and I've made no money. My first jobs, I made $3.25 an hour. Hell, I was mowing lawns in the '80s for $5 a lawn. That was good money back in the day. But a lawn takes you 2 hours. You're making $2.50 an hour. So that's not what's going to make you happy. Don't get me wrong. Got to pay the bills. Totally get it. It's nice to have nice things. My wife likes nice things. It's one of the reasons she hangs around is because she knows I'm a good provider and all that. But with all that being said, gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Think about what you have to be grateful for. Think about what good things are in your life and recognize them in a deliberate way. Whether it's writing it down, whether it's saying it out loud to yourself, whether it's recognizing it to other people. Can't stress that enough. So, just to recap, you want to be happier. You want to do things that'll make you happier. Things that are within your control that cost $0. There's five of them. Get exercise every day. Get enough sleep every day. Spend time with your friends and family as much as possible every day if possible. Get outside somewhere greenish. Practice gratitude. If you incorporate one of those things a week, in 5 weeks, you'd have five new things in your life that are going well, that would make you feel better, that you'd be you'd be in a much different position than you are today. And I know they sound small, but it's those small things that add up to make big changes in your life. Rarely do we make one big change or hit a home run and have a bunch of things change all at once. So there's five things. Thanks again, guys, for coming back and seeing us here. It's Salty Ginger Talk. We really appreciate you coming back and checking out our podcast. Don't forget to go to our website, saltygingertalk.com. All of our content's available there. Our newsletter is there. And we really look forward to seeing you the next time that we're on. Thanks.